Eroding our rights. Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. David Lammy is looking to erode our rights to a jury trial. About 50% of criminal cases in England and Wales look set to lose their right to a jury. And he is doing it for a specific reason, and it's not the reason on the tin. They're doing it for control. They're doing it because, in their view, as soon as you have been arrested, you're guilty. And I want to get into the specifics of where I've come to this conclusion by looking at a clip that he put out. We're going to deconstruct it a little bit, and I'll come back to it later in the video as well. So let's get into it.
What's true and false about some of the statements that have been made about court reforms. All jury trials are being removed as part of the changes. False. Jury trials remain the cornerstone of our system. For the most serious offences, rape, serious assault, murder, of course there will be a jury trial. But some offenders are choosing to delay and delay and to delay in the hope that victims and witnesses will fall away and cases will collapse.
I'm going to pause that here. He's already made a mistake and he's already exposed his hand. He's referring to the people, the accused, the defendants, as offenders. That removes the presumption of innocence, which is if you're potentially going to have your freedom taken away from you, you are innocent until proven guilty. By saying that the defendants or the accused are the criminals, essentially, what he's done is removing that very important caveat. He's basically saying if you've been arrested and charged, you are guilty. This is why a right to a jury trial is fundamental. He'll also conflate serious potential offences, such as assault and violent crimes against women, for example, as extreme, needing a jury trial, and then he will conflate and say something very minor, like stealing or potentially stealing a bottle of whiskey from a shop, shouldn't require a jury trial. So he's using one extreme to defend jury trials and another extreme to say they're not needed. There's going to be any potential custodial sentence over 3 years in England, under 3 years in England and Wales. That goes far beyond a bottle of whiskey or a theft of a bottle of whiskey. It'd be people like Lucy Connolly and Jamie Michael after the Southport atrocities and the fallout from that. Jamie Michael, the former Royal Marine from Wales, he went on remand, he didn't plead guilty, and he was found not guilty by a jury of his peers in less than 20 minutes, after being reported to the police for inciting racial hatred and disturbing community tensions by a Labour representative, a Labour employee in the Senate in Wales. So people like David Lammy wanted him arrested and convicted, but the actual judicial process in England and Wales got in the way of that, and he was acquitted. How much easier would it have been if there was no right to a jury trial and it was a singular judge who decided he was guilty and sent him down for the maximum of 3 years? This is the issue, and it's nothing to do with the backlog, no matter what they say.
So we have to change the system so that for less serious offences you get a judge, and for the most serious offences you remain with a jury so that the system can move more quickly. More court sitting days have been added to help bring caseloads down. True, this year we've allocated 111,250 sitting days.
On that number though, how much of an increase is that? How much more funding have you put into the system? Have you reopened any of the derelict court buildings that have been closed? Have you? What percentage uptick on the court days is what you're advocating for here? I'd be interested to know.
which represents a day that the courtroom is open for business with a judge, barristers, solicitors, all the court staff, the defendant there, so that the case can happen and move swiftly. The reforms are designed to speed up the system and protect victims. True.
Wrong again. Until somebody's proven guilty in a court of law, there is only an accused or a defendant and a potentially injured party or a potential victim. So this reform cannot be to help victims, because until somebody's been proven guilty of a crime in a court of law, there is no victim. This is a potential victim and a defendant. The entire court system is about the finding of facts, and a jury determines that when presented with the evidence in a courtroom. It's not for you to determine that, but this is the issue. This is Labour Party revealing their hand. They want the policy, and now they're trying to retrofit it and justify it to the mass and the media, and we're not buying it. The people that are protected by jury trials are the people likely to end up in court. If you're lawyered up and you're wealthy, you're likely not going to end up in court because you have a well-paid lawyer.
Mr. Winters has never been accused and shall never be convicted of any crime. Ever.
This is what we know. The overreach of the state is felt most with people that have to live within the auspices of the state, meaning they can't buy the way out of it. This is the issue. The every man and every woman on the street are the people that are going to be most impacted by this curtailing of our rights. And again, it's done by the alleged working party of Britain, the Labour Party.
Our reforms are based on a simple premise: triage. In a hospital, if you scrape your knee, you are not seen by a consultant.
I don't like this equivalence, I really don't. First of all, potentially denying someone of their liberty for up to 3 years isn't a minor issue, it's a major issue. Some of the hate crime laws that we have in the United Kingdom are very nebulous, meaning they're open to interpretation, and they can mean anything that the person arresting you or the person reporting you to the police want them to mean. The issue with the hate crime laws and things like that is there's no real world harm, it's all perceived harm. Alright? This is the issue. And this is why I'm focusing on the hate crime issue. This is how it's going to be used. This is potential short-term sentences that are going to be decided by judges only, and the state will be fully on their side, and the law is open to interpretation. So people like Jamie Michael, I'll use that example again, would have been sent down if it was for a judge to decide. No, it's jury acquitted him, and this is the entire thing. It's nothing to do with triage, it's about you wanting to stifle any dissent.
On the same premise, in a Crown Court case, if you've stolen a bottle of whiskey, you should not get a jury trial. We are empowering the experts, the courts, to determine how a case progresses.
But this is the issue as well. I think under the last Labour government, the judges are appointed by their own committee, and they're all ideologically captured, and they are liberal and they are left-leaning. So they are not liberal, and they are there to preserve the liberal ruling class order, the Labour Party essentially. Alright? I do not believe this for a second, and there's nothing about cutting queues. Now, there was a moment in Parliament from a few months ago. This is somebody under David Lammy in the Labour Party in the Justice Department, Sarah Sackman, and this is what she said. This is a very short clip.
If the people ask me, Sarah, would you be doing this if there wasn't a crisis in our courts? And I say yes. If the people ask me, Sarah, would you be doing this if there wasn't a crisis in our courts? And I say yes.
See, it's nothing to do with a backlog. It's nothing to do with backlog at all. It's to do with removing the rights of the individual because the state thinks it's inconvenience. The state wants to be judge, jury and executioner. In their mind, once the police and the Crown have charged you with a crime, you're guilty. The jury is inconsequential. They don't want it anymore, and specifically because the state has determined that you're already guilty. Anyway, I'll end this here. By all accounts, the Labour government is going to get a bit of a rebellion on their hands. About between 60 and 70 MPs are looking to rebel against this. They have got an overall majority of over 400, so this isn't going to be much in the scheme of things. However, this needs to be reversed. Whichever party gets in next needs to reverse this. This is an attack on the way we handle justice in the United Kingdom. No doubt the SNP in Scotland will be following suit. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. You have a good day.